You already seen how I remember back in the day when we used to do this, I used to have a camera like right in my face, but now I'm doing this side angle thing where I like now I hardly pay attention to you. You're like you're so beneath me now. I'm just like I'm
Yeah,
over here
yeah.
now. I just thought, you know what, it's nothing. And what's up to everybody that's watching right now? If there's anybody watching, it's Chris and Sean. We're about to. This is I think I'm gonna. What's this episode 110? I know I don't have it marked in there, but this is episode 110 of Talking Through the Media. Is me and Sean back. We're gonna go over some of these things that just happened today, and just like we always do, just talk about it. Dude, if you guys knew half the shit me and Sean talk about. We're not recording. It's fucking crazy.
More than when recording, a lot more.
Oh man, that's why I wish sometimes I had like a crew. I could afford a crew to just be honest like all the time, dude. It's like it's too funny. Just like recently when we were playing the PUBG, we were so fucking upset not winning all for a while, and then we finally did. It felt like a huge weight was. Finally.
Just put the controller down. Oh, thank God. Now
so
we can
good.
lose for the rest of the night.
Makes it sound like it was something else. Like, oh, God. That was great.
Finally. Jesus Christ.
But that was the that's video game stuff. But right now, let's talk about. All right, so I called Sean up and I said, well, no, you hit me up early this morning. I saw the phone alert. But dude, you were so excited, Sean. He texted me.
Oh yeah, Bad Boys.
Yeah, and he's like, "Dude, did you see the Bad Boys for Life trailer?" I still don't like that title, man. I don't make it. Doesn't make any sense because it's not the fourth one.
Nah, but it's their whole saying that the little slogan they had. Bad
Bad Boys for Life.
Is it cheesy? Yeah. But
what I mean,
would you rather them just call it Bad Boys 3? Maybe
I would rather just be Bad Boys 3 because weren't they planning on doing a fourth one?
I think it's up to how much. Obviously, it's going to be how much money they make with this. If they make money guaranteed, they're going to make a fourth. Guaranteed.
Oh yeah, of course. And every time I'm going live again, and the boy Craig, the tech guy, he says, "What's up?" He always says a shout out. But yeah, I think at first when they originally announced it, they said they were going to make a third and a fourth, and then that's when people started really like hammering on them, like, well, then why don't you call the fourth one Bad Boys for Life? Why are you calling the third one that? Like.
Well, okay, so assuming that this is Bad Boys for Life, what would you call Bad Boys 4?
Bad Boys, I don't know.
Bad Boys till death. I mean,
yeah, I don't know. I mean, that could have been Bad Boys till Ride or Die. I don't know. They should have called.
Actually, that would have been that might have been a good title. Bad Boys Ride or Die.
Bad Boys Ride or Die. That would have been a good title for the third one. Boom, right there. And then the fourth one comes out. Bad Boys for Life. Exactly. Yeah, and that would have been a good way to end it because it feels like when I saw the trailer, it feels like they're gonna like this.
They may kill one of them.
I feel like one of them might die. I mean, or that's why they showed us because you saw that little part with the stretcher, and I know it pointed it out earlier. That might be a mystery. We might have.
Yeah, you don't know who it is. You don't know.
Yeah, who it is. It could be his wife. It could be his daughter. It could be Will Smith, but.
I will, man. It's been so long since I clicked that fast on something. Open up my YouTube. I'm like, oh, Bad Boys, and I click on it because I've been waiting for this. For, me and Chris have been talking about this for it seems like 10 years, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a long time. So every time we talk about sequels, we want to see. And matter of fact, I think if you guys dig, there's like 1,000 videos on the channel, but I think you can find a couple of the videos we've referenced Bad Boys 3. And what we expected from it, but I don't remember exactly what we said.
Perfection. We expect perfection.
and when he said he watched it, he called me right back after he watched it. I didn't look because as soon as it clicked off and I saw the footage was done, I sent Chris a message saying, "Watch." To our little group message. Watch this shit.
Oh, dude, you were right. It's not directed by.
It's not Michael Bay.
Not directed by Michael Bay.
Oh God, I was just about to say.
What the hell?
It was Michael Bay. Okay, so this
feels bad.
I'm sorry, guys. If that just jumped off the cliff.
Is it because it's a scheduling thing? He probably was like, you know what? I don't want to be the guy holding it up. So give it another director because he's obviously gonna. No, he's not producing. He says Jerry Bruckheimer.
Yeah, Bruckheimer Productions
That's
and all that.
it is a Bruckheimer.
Yeah, it used to be Don Simpson, Jerry Bruckheimer, and then Don Simpson passed away, I believe.
It
They did a
always
lot of
felt
movies.
like I thought it was. I always thought. You know what? And I don't know why thought it was a Michael Bay
So who is?
production.
So you're sure Michael Bay is not directing
It's
this?
the it's I'm looking at it right here, directed by Adil El Arbi and Bilal Falah. Two dudes. It's two directors.
Oh shit.
So
Well, guys,
it
I'm
is
gonna
a
say right now
Bruckheimer movie. Yeah.
that sucks. I don't give a shit what you guys say. Who those of you who hate on Michael Bay? There are some things that Michael Bay does really well, and for me, the Bad Boy series.
I agree. I agree on this. This time, I agree. Like I know that now I remember now it's a Jerry Bruckheimer movie, which is another thing on its own, and that was cool. But I feel like Michael Bay put his stamp on it so well. I forgot that it wasn't
Humor
produced
and
by him.
explosions.
It fits so well. The Bruckheimer Bay connection with Bad Boys. It just felt. Maybe it was a scheduling thing, but now I'm not upset.
Either that or Michael wanted too much money, and they're like, we can't swing it, Mike.
I mean, I don't know. I doubt that because
I would have been like, give me a percentage. Just give me a percentage of the box office. Let me sign this check with my nuts type deal.
I mean, even when he was still doing the Transformer stuff, he still did his little stuff, like the one he did with The Rock and Mark Wahlberg and stuff. He still did those types of movies.
Oh, that's right.
So it's not like I don't think Michael Bay would. I feel like maybe he just was maybe it was
maybe the production company just wanted somebody else.
They probably just wanted to do direction. Who knows? I mean. But or maybe since the Transformers, Michael Bay.
I'm saying it now, guys. It's a mistake to not have Michael Bay involved in the Bad Boys series. I'm serious. I'm sorry.
I would never say that. That's not how I think. There's probably a million directors that are better.
I know,
but would be better than Michael Bay for the third
like
one.
Michael Bay with Bad Boys.
I know. Perfect. I'm always picking on Sean about being a little loyalist and stuff. They did a good job. That means no one else could do a good job.
I'm not saying that. But if he's done two of the three,
yes, you just did.
Give him the third one.
You've already said before seeing the movie it would have been better. You just said that.
Psychologically, for me, I am disappointed that I just found out that Michael Bay's not doing it. I'm not gonna lie. I am a little disappointed. I'll give it. I hope it's still good, and I'm expecting good things. But yeah, I am a little disappointed. But that's okay. That's life.
Yeah,
Just like
I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little. I'm gonna. Well, maybe disappointed is a little strong for me, but a little throw it off. I was hoping that it was gonna be the team again, like the winning team again, because they did such a good job with. I'm gonna say that from what I've seen with this first trailer, it's fun and all that, but I'm curious on the direction they're gonna go. I'm hoping or thinking that if they want to what's the best way to put it? Like Fast and Furious, this whole thing, and franchise it and make it. They're gonna have to start adding to the group and passing some torches because Martin is looking older. Will is a vampire; he never ages, and I don't know. It's for me starting to get more and more disproportionate. Like I just can't believe that these two dudes would still be doing this at this level. I mean, I don't know. But Martin's gonna be I can already tell Martin's gonna fucking kill when it comes to the comedy though. It's gonna be funny as hell.
I don't think he really does much anymore as far as movies though. So I'm sure he was kind of like either really jumping for this or just kind of like I don't know if I really want to do it. And then we'll give you like $10 million. It's like which I don't think they gave him $10 million. He got a couple of million out of it though. That's for sure. And I'm sure that Will fought for him to get as high a salary as possible because I think those guys are buddies.
I don't think Will has to fight for him at all. I don't think that. I think they got the same amount of money. I know Will Smith is no longer a $20 million man anymore.
No, I'd be surprised if they got equal pay for this movie.
Yeah, I'm not saying that they deserve equal pay.
No, I'm saying did they get equal pay? I don't think they did, but you never know.
But for this franchise, Martin Lawrence is it's almost like what. I have to look it up again, but it's almost like Rush Hour. What Chris Tucker did for Rush Hour, even though it was the second Rush Hour 2, him and his agents argued that even though Jackie Chan was more popular at the time, he argued that his comedy was what really made Rush Hour so big as it was, and that's why he argued to get paid $20 million. it worked, and he got 20 million for part two and for part three. I think the argument still stands. Yeah, I might not be in high demand for as Will Smith is currently, but when it comes to Bad Boys, I'm equal to.
I think he's important to the series.
I
You
think
can't do a
he's
Bad
equal.
Boys movie without him. So
Yeah, exactly. Which they all know. So I would think it would have been a mistake to give Will Smith more money than
I
Martin
don't
Lawrence.
think Will Smith got like a giant paycheck. I think this was like a love project for them. I
Yeah,
know they got paid, but I think they were fighting to try to get this movie made. It's been in production for.
yeah, exactly. So,
It's kind
but
of like Bill and Ted 3. I guarantee you. Well,
now for
yeah.
that one, I would probably say
Oh, we know Keanu's
what
getting more than
Keanu
Alex
probably got.
Winter. Yeah,
Like Keanu could easily have been
but
offered
I don't
more,
think
but I
I
don't
don't
think he
think
would have
he asked for
taken
a lot
more.
of money to do
I don't.
that
Yeah,
movie.
exactly.
I think he's like, you know what? Give like 90% of my salary to the production. Let's just get this movie made. The fans want to see it. I'm loaded. It doesn't matter. I got John
Yeah.
Wick 4, 5, 6 on the way. Let's just do it.
Now he could. I think Keanu would be the kind of guy that would probably like cut that in half and give it
Give it to Alex.
give it to Alex. Exactly. but Martin, even if he hadn't done anything since Bad Boys 2, would still have an argument that you can't make Bad Boys without me. So no, I'm not going to take less than this dollar amount. And he'd be right. It'd be a less of a fight. It's like when they offered Will Smith to do Independence Day 2. It's like you're either gonna they called his bluff. He was like, nah, Will, those movies that you've been doing with your son haven't been hitting, so we're not gonna let you strong arm us. So they didn't put him in the movie. Was it a mistake? Maybe.
Yes, it was.
But I still appreciate them for standing up.
Will was probably like, I'm glad I wasn't in that shit.
I bet it wouldn't have been anything like that though if he would have been in it though. Whatever they said they had two different scripts, two different directions that they would have gone to with him being alive or him being dead.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to what that Will Smith version would have been. But anyway, let us know what you guys think. Do you think Will Smith and Martin Lawrence are like even on the whole Bad Boys thing, or do you think definitely like Will Smith got more, Martin like is begging for the work? Like
oh no! He's not begging.
Like,
but
send your hate mail to this guy right now.
No. I think that I will state my opinion and say I think Will got more money for this movie. I don't think it was a big issue, but I do think that he just gets more money. Probably he's got I'm sure he has a great a lawyer for his contracts and stuff. That just.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. He gets more, but I don't think he got more for this. Because like I said, I think the argument that you can't do it without Martin is too strong. I think they would.
Let's put it this way: he pushed it as far as he could to make sure that Martin would still be willing to do it.
Probably, but I'm just saying with the power play, I don't think he had to. I just don't think. I think on the Bill and Ted one, maybe I would see it more likely with that. But
I don't think that Keanu really made much at all for that movie. Yeah. I don't think he cared either.
But you got to remember, just because we don't see a person doesn't mean that they can't still come into a situation and have a stronger poker face and stronger hand. Come in. Just because Martin ain't on every movie every year like Will Smith doesn't mean that he wouldn't look the director right in the face and say, "I'm sorry, Jerry, but if you're going to pay him more than me, I'm not doing it." And
I'll give you a perfect example. If somebody was to try to convince Daniel Day-Lewis, who's retired now, to come back and make another movie, he could probably be like, I'm not coming in for less than, $15-20 million. And they would probably pay him that.
Yeah. But I'm talking about in different circumstances. We're not talking about, we're not talking about a regularly paid advanced act. I'm just talking about for this franchise.
Right.
He had just like what Chris Tucker did for Rush Hour. Who the hell were you to tell us that we got to pay you $20 million? But he had a convincing argument. And it worked. He won. What do they always say? You don't get what you deserve. You get what you argue for, what you fight for. That's what. So I think Martin would have had a strong hand. Like, who else you gonna make this damn movie with? You're like, damn it, you're right. Pay him the same. And give him money. But whatever it is, I think it's gonna be a success. It looks good.
I hope. It did look funny. It did look funny.
So moving on to the next thing. So did you hear? You already heard about what happened?
Yeah, I heard about what happened.
Did that happen yesterday?
It happened like 2 days ago. It happened late at night, like 2 days ago, almost 3 days ago.
And then he was in the hospital, and everybody came out with the first wave of news
You
was
think it's
Kevin Hart's paralyzed.
Oh my God. My wife actually told me she saw that, and I was like, tell me that's a hoax. So
And
I
then
Googled it, and the first thing it says Kevin Hart paralyzed hoax. And I'm like, oh, thank God. Because I've been looking at updates, clicking on refreshing it, trying to see if we'd heard any news. All I knew and all they said was Kevin Hart, major back injuries in wreck. And that was, I
yeah,
thought it was a clickbait article. And I opened it up on Yahoo, and it showed the pictures of him. Apparently, he had made videos that day doing burnouts in this badass 1970 Barracuda, and I guess he let his buddy drive it. And as soon as they turned through an intersection, I guess his buddy stepped on it and slid through and rolled over, an embankment. But oh my God, I will hate to say this, but I think it's true because he's so much shorter. I think that actually helped him in this case because what happened, the roof got collapsed down on top of the car.
Yeah, did it fall like on its top?
Yeah, it tumbled down an embankment and the roof collapsed. So I think him being a little shorter, I think his buddy who was driving is actually hurt a lot more than he is.
No, I've heard that Kevin Hart just finished surgery, like the whole paralyzed thing.
They're both fucked up.
Yeah. The whole paralyzed thing. I just heard that it wasn't that far fetched because what the news that I've heard that's coming out now is that that Kevin Hart did call his security detail that was like back at the house or right around the corner to come out and come get him. And the thing that that his security did was they pulled him out of the vehicle and they put him in the car and put him in the house. And then when he got home, he was like incoherent. He was like all messed up. He couldn't move, and they had to take him to the emergency room. What they're thinking is that when that dude when he pulled Kevin out of the wreck, it caused damage. How they say like leave him.
Don't do it. Yeah, get the EMS.
Wait until the paramedics come. Yeah.
Ugh, that was stupid.
They think that's where the whole paralyzed theory is coming from because he couldn't move.
If you guys ever take first responder or EMT or first aid or anything, and I've had to take a couple throughout my life, not like EMT.
Yeah. What do they say? What do they give you
the advice to do? If they suspect a back or neck injury, you do not move them.
Yeah.
You will, if you can keep them stationary and their neck from moving and until help comes, you can do that, but you don't go yanking them out of the car, right? That was stupid.
Which obviously whoever the security dude was probably wasn't trained for that.
No, I'm not saying he'd do it. He was trying to be whatever the word is.
Yeah, he was just getting his boss
out of there.
His
buddy, like, holy fuck, let me get you out of the car, But yeah, that was kind of stupid.
But and when it comes to a car wreck, especially one like that, the odds of a back or neck injury is likely. That's pretty much the first thing they're going to look for.
He may have thought the car might have set on fire at some point. So I don't.
Which in that situation,
get me the fuck out of the car.
You got to risk it because if your thing blows up,
a broke back or burnt body. I was like, I'll take
exactly. So
one thing that concerns me about this though, and I've read some stuff about this. Apparently, there's some truth to this. There is no. Let me backstep. So from what they've released about this is his wife or girlfriend has said that he is expected to make a full recovery.
Yeah.
But on the flip side of that, from what I understand, when it comes to major trauma to the back and spinal column, there is no such thing as a full recovery. You can get better, but he's probably going to, if it is as bad as they say, if he's like
anything could be possible when he starts
he's going to have problems with it for the rest of his life.
Yeah. It could be a situation where he's just in some pain and then oh man, that takes my mind into a bunch of rabbit holes. Because this is Kevin Hart, so the joke
he's in his prime, man.
I'm going to it's something else on like Wanda Sykes, the comedian Wanda Sykes was recently talking about how on the opioid epidemic in these situations they don't give black folks
I didn't even think about that.
The prescriptions and stuff. But this is Kevin Hart, so if anybody could convince the doctor, give me the good stuff. Yeah. So if he's in pain, will he start taking opioids? Will he start being different in the future? Will it not be as bad as we think? Will there be a limp? Will there be something that'll prevent him from being in the action movies that
he may end up having to wear a brace underneath his clothes?
Might have to wear a brace, something. I mean, how is this going to impact his the project?
His career is going to be down and out for a while, probably. I don't know,
because he's very active on stage, and like when he's doing his comedy, he's walking all around and stuff. So if he can't be that energetic,
I'm a little bit concerned for him,
like his performance. But not to say that he could still be funny, like Like Aziz Ansari,
His sense of humor is in his back.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
in his
yeah.
back.
Yeah.
I mean, Aziz Ansari to me was just as funny as in his new one, and he sat down the whole time. I'm used to seeing him walking her all over the place, but he sat down, just had a one-on-one like kind of a thing, and it was still killer. So, but at the same time, it could be just reaching. I mean, Kevin Hart might pop up and be fine.
I
Be
hope he is. I hope
be
I
fine.
hope we can't even tell. I mean, I'm praying for him, man. I hope he makes a full recovery and he doesn't need opioids and stuff to walk around.
What I hope is what I hope he doesn't do. I hope if he is still in pain or if he is messed up or whatever the situation is, that he doesn't try to cover it up and pretend like nothing's wrong. And I'm gonna still do what I was doing before.
He may
and
need
make
to
himself
just take
worse.
6 months or a year off and just rehab.
Rehab, yeah.
Like,
Because
like
he's
Morgan,
in
what
good
was that
shape.
dude? Tracy Morgan?
Yeah.
He did the same
He
thing. He
took
got
time off.
he's
Right?
fine. He's fine now. I mean,
He looks great now. It's just, and I think he did right by himself and just did the work that he needed to do to come back. And that's it. If anybody would tell him don't go crazy with it, it's going to be The Rock. The Rock is going to be right there in his face, like don't mess with yourself, like that. Take care of this. So I think The Rock will probably step in and be like, try to be that positive, but because they're known for being all positive energy kind of people. So I think his buddy The Rock will give him some good advice. So I hope so. But yeah, I'm with you. I hope he recovers. All right. So let's move on to the next one real quick. Nah, it's the big one right here. It's the one you're us. All right. So reviews have been coming in lately.
I called it.
Joker. And I don't know, man. Whatever. All right, Sean loves the fact that it's all good news. It's like
I am glad.
There was a 1 hour standing ovation.
Yeah. Well, okay. So we talked about this a lot, and we were concerned. We were 50-50. I thought the casting was great. Some people were like, I like Joaquin Phoenix. I'm sorry. I was really hoping that they would get this. I was a little concerned when I heard that Todd Phillips is doing it, but I like the Hangover movies. But they're just so different. That's what concerned me. But I'm like, please be good. Please be good. And then I start reading the first reviews and I'm like, like in PUBG, I'm like, okay.
But take it with a grain of salt. What you're doing here is you're just getting other people's reaction. What I was saying last time was you might have a totally different experience.
It's possible.
It's possible, but you don't feel like it's likely.
I think I'm at least going to be able to say that was pretty good. I'm not going to be able to say that's trash.
You're going to walk you feel like you're going to walk in the door with other people's reactions with you and go, they liked it, so it's got to be good. They liked it, so it's got to be good.
I'll be upfront. If I may be that 1 in 1,000 guy that was like, oh, I just didn't like it.
Like what if the best scenes were what they showed us in the trailer? Man, I
think that's completely the opposite, though. I think that they showed us very little from what's actually the whole story of the movie. From what I understand, and I very abruptly stopped reading, is that the ending is kind of open to interpretation.
Okay.
So people are going to be a little confused.
What I'm purposely doing is I'm downplaying it. So when I walk in, it'll be like what happened to us when we saw Venom. I remember that. Like, remember
we're like,
you
it's
asked
gonna be.
Right. And you asked me what you thought, and you knew in your head, I knew it. I knew what I was doing. You knew I was gonna say I hated it, but the second you asked me, I was like, I freaking thought it was awesome. You're like, what?
Yeah,
we had the same experience. Like, fuck yeah, that movie was awesome. I think I honestly feel like it's gonna be that again, but I'm trying to make it like because I'm thinking, oh my God, what if this is the one where people would say which Joker is better, Heath Ledger or Joaquin Phoenix?
I've read a couple that said that they actually thought he was better. It said it's different. The character is different, but it did say this one is entirely focused on him. So you get way more time to get
more exposure to him.
Yeah. So they felt that this was a better interpretation, a different and not exactly. I think the word was you are not going to get what you expect, but you're going to love what you get
because you don't expect to sympathize with the Joker ever
because he's psycho, right?
Right. So I feel like we're gonna get that, which is gonna be interesting. You're gonna feel sorry for him, and then probably root for him at some point.
Rooting for the villain.
And when the Joker is full on Joker, you never, even when you know how bad his life was, you still don't care because of what he does. But with it starting off with seeing the sad stuff first and then going into the Joker, then you're probably, who knows, maybe the standing ovation was, I'm glad he killed all those people.
Yeah, I think that he wasn't born evil,
No, he wasn't.
but I think that we will, obviously he does become evil, and we
Yeah.
get to get that gift of exactly what happened. Why is he like that? And I think that's a question that when people think of the Joker, it's one of the first things they say, why is he like that? What happened to him?
There was a lot of different origins of it. I think they finally settled on an official one. But like at one point, like just like in the Batman Tim Burton movie, he was a gangster working for another mobs, and then the chemical thing, and that's what drove him crazy. Like he always had a twisted sense of humor.
Jack was always screwed up.
Yeah. And then he got even more twisted when he turned to Joker. And then the other ones was he was a failed comedian or in abusive relationships and with his mom or dad or whatever. And I think they settled more on that origin for the Joker versus the mobster thing. And then it was and then he fell into life's of crime and got in. It was like three different versions of the Joker where he was a failed comedian. Then he tried to rob a bank as the Red. He invented the Red Hood villain. And then that's when the chemical thing happened and he turned into Joker. And it's like, it's a whole bunch of different stuff. I think it's just going to be like failed comedian, which what we saw in the trailers. And then you said the whole, you know what? I don't want to spoil it for those who didn't see it because we were talking about his laugh.
Yes.
But I won't spoil it for
okay, yeah. You'll find out a little bit about that.
But what you told me about that to me was very interesting. So
if you pay attention, you'll notice it in the
you'll
trailer.
notice it. But since they didn't talk about it, I don't want to spoil anybody. But it makes it make a lot of sense. So
it gets him in trouble.
And I think that what you said about being exposed to him that reminds me of the TV show Smallville. Like people ask, who do you think is your best Superman? I like the man
because he has so much time with him.
Exactly. I think without a doubt, I think Henry Cavill is the best Superman to ever, the best person to be Superman, and then second
physically imposing,
because he looks like Superman the way a Superman would look like. But the best Clark Kent to me will always be Tom Welling because we saw him grow up and play that for Tom Welling to this day has played Clark Kent. And
he was in Lucifer. Wasn't he?
Yeah,
it took me a little while to recognize him. I was like, I know that dude because he's big now. But anyway,
he's a buff dude now, and but Tom Welling, he played Clark Kent more than probably anybody ever in history or will ever play Clark Kent.
How many seasons did they have?
They did 10 seasons.
Oh yeah, he's gonna hold that record for a long time.
Yeah, that record will never be broken unless they do another Smallville-like show and do it for longer than 10 seasons.
Did they actually come out with a Krypton show? Because I heard Krypton was canceled, but I don't know if it was canceled in production or if it actually.
They just announced that they canceled it. But that's about Superman's grandfather.
Okay.
Yeah, they went further. They went way back.
So with that being said, yes, I think he will hold the record. He probably will never be beat.
That record will never. Even when you combine every person who's played Clark Kent and put their hours together combined, it doesn't touch Tom Welling. He played Clark for a long time. But I think that's what we're gonna get with the Joker. We're gonna get that. We're gonna see him as that who he is before he becomes the Joker longer than we're gonna see him as the Joker.
Oh yeah, I agree.
And then root for him. I think that's what it's going to be amazing.
I don't think he's going to be the Joker until at least halfway or 3/4 of the way through the movie,
the third act or something. Because in the trailer it's like, can you introduce me as Joker?
One little thing.
I think that's good. I think that's the last scene.
Did you see him start dancing before they even?
Yeah, he was getting ready.
He was like, "All right, open the curtain."
I have a theory on what it's based on. If you remember,
I know where you're going with it. I agree. I think that's going to happen.
I think that's what's going to happen if he does that.
And that's why she was saying it's so terrible, don't you think? And he's just like, so there, laughing in the corner.
It's going to be great.
It was so great.
They ain't carrying no picky side.
I think another word I read, and I try to avoid watching videos because at least when you're reading text, you can be like, oh, and like stop. But when it's a video, you don't know what they're going to start saying to you. And so I avoided watching videos. So I read transcripts, and
Mm.
a lot of the words they were saying that stuff that happens in the movie is shockingly brutal. And that's kind of a vague term, but it's not a term you hear a
But the
lot.
movie is rated R, right?
Oh yeah.
And so shockingly brutal, like
I
you know,
think
like
it's appropriate
bloody.
that they make an R-rated Joker movie because
Oh
the
yeah.
character is. That's why I was surprised about the Venom. But anyway, yeah, well, hopefully we get some whatever.
Yeah,
Venom. Don't get me
but
started
with
on.
yeah, but with Venom, they're just trying to leave the door open. If
Yeah,
they ever want to bring in Spider-Man,
yeah, they can't bring
they
it.
can
Yeah, I,
do
mean,
it.
I get why they.
You have to. But with standalone Joker, with it being rated R, I don't. That means we'll never see a Batman situation because you can't. Because
I'll say it right now, and I just don't know if it's. I'd say it's probably not going to happen, just because this is going to be a
I
very.
think that kid could be Bruce, but I don't think we'll ever see Batman.
No, that is Bruce. That is Bruce Wayne. That the guy, the older guy, walking on the TV. That's Thomas Wayne, and that kid is Bruce Wayne. I know that.
Mm.
Um, this is going to make money. I don't think it's going to make so much money that they're just going to blackmail what's his name into making another one. I do think he's already been offered, probably, because of what people are saying.
Well, you know, Joaquin
Yeah,
doesn't
that's
do
the thing. It's
franchises.
a
He's
tragedy,
not going to
man.
do it. He's not going to. That's probably he said that was the reason why he chose this, because it's a one and done, as he doesn't want to do franchises. He doesn't want to be tied down like that. So this one's gonna. So just like we only got the one performance from Heath Ledger,
Yeah, that's
we're
true.
getting the one performance from Joaquin. The clash of the fans. I feel it. It's gonna come by the end of the year, 2020. They're gonna be saying,
Heath is
who
the
was better?
best one of the.
I
It's gonna
know
be such
Joaquin.
ugliness.
Like, dude,
Oh God.
what will be the cool thing that you're gonna start seeing is you're gonna see memes, or you're gonna see pictures where you're gonna see people putting Joaquin Phoenix in the Dark Knight and Heath Ledger in the Joker movie, and putting, like, mixing scenes up, and like he's talking to the, like, I don't know, where he's about to entertain the audience and stuff, and then Heath Ledger goes, "You want to know how I got these scars?" Like he's doing stand up or something like that. Like, I can already see it's about to happen, man. But we'll find out when it drops.
I'm very excited, though. I'm very excited. I will go see this. I don't know if because the theater that lived right next to me. Are we going to get screening tickets for this? Hopefully, we get screening tickets. Otherwise, maybe we'll get to see it before everybody else does. At least in our area.
I'll ask the sponsors if they give. Oh, speaking of screening tickets, there's a chance. Well, I'll tell you off. I'll tell you off after we finish. But all right, let's go to the next one, and one of the big one, Dave Chappelle, and going up against Twitter. And I was just watching it a little bit before we started streaming. I had to rewatch a little bit of it from the beginning. I was just cracking up. That was part of the reason why I was late getting on it. I was holding my phone, just cracking up. But somebody interviewed I guess the big one of the big controversies is what he said about the transgender community, which he said on his first Netflix one and his second one, and now this one. Like, he brought it all home, again, on why he does it and why he's going to continue to do it. And I saw this interview, and I didn't finish it, but I saw half of it. They had a transgender woman talking about, like, what do you think about what he said and this and that and the other. And he's like, well, I don't like it. But and I think maybe they were about to go to the point that he's allowed to say what he wants to say, but he needs to understand what boys who transcend to and go and turn into girls, what, especially in the Black community, what they go through, especially when you're raised by a homophobic father or something like that. It's like boys get killed, boys get hurt, they get beat, they get all this stuff happens to them. It's like, you got to understand that you could be feeding into that, or adding fuel to that. Which I can see the argument, but I just think that it's easy to seek out a person who is already, upset with it and angry with it and opposed to it, and then just put a microphone in front of them and say, what did you not like about it? And then say, the majority of people don't like what Dave Chappelle said, which I don't honestly feel that that's the case. I feel like a big number of people, especially the ones who might be affected by the jokes and are emotionally or experienced in it, might not like it. But I think overall, what I can tell, people like they're just jokes, and I understand what he's really
The
meaning.
world will always get offended. You're
By
always going to
something.
offend somebody.
Yeah,
I watched it. I can see, but he kind of did make a disclaimer a little bit ahead before he's like, before I get into this, I just know that if I'm offending you, I've got a lot of gay friends. I've got a lot in the community. So don't take it like as a personal, I'm going after you type deal. But yeah, I mean,
that they make fun of the other gay people and stuff too.
yeah, I mean, I can see why somebody might not like it, but like, I don't think he went like really below the belt or anything. I mean, what he said wasn't like, I mean, I didn't think it was like that shocking stuff he said. I mean, it was
Yeah,
like, I mean, I don't belong to the LGBTQ community, but I mean, I've known people that are gay in my life, and I don't know.
they don't. I mean,
You're
a lot of people don't get. A lot of people. There as many people that are offended. There's a lot of people who aren't, and the argument is what I'm trying to figure out is like, are people who are just trying to like expose it, exploit it, or report on it, or just putting a microphone in front of somebody. Like I'm like I can easily seek out a person who was offended, put a microphone in front of them, do an interview on them, and then say the majority of the LGBT
Are you
community
saying that
hates
they're
it.
trying to get biased interviews of people who are just like,
No, no. I'm not saying that they're getting a bias interview. Whatever that person's beliefs are what they are. But I do believe that whoever is taking that interview and then putting it out there is saying like it could be literally it could be 35% versus hated the show and hate his guts. It could be like 35%. But then you only give interviews to the 35%, and then people will think it's 99% because you're only, being because you're being told it's they all everybody in this community hates it. Everybody hates it. Everybody hates it. Everybody. I feel like they're doing that more. I'm not, and it could be 90% hate it, but I don't think it is. But I think they give an interview, and then they write on the description, you see, this proves that the majority of this community they hate it. And I've seen people say, I'm gay, and I know what he meant.
I think you should just be careful about making too many jokes about stuff like that. Walk the line of it. Spread it out. If he
I
wants
feel
to
like
make
he
jokes,
wouldn't have. I feel like he wouldn't have done it again if the backlash didn't come.
he may do it more now. Just to
Now he may do it
I
more
don't know.
because that's his life now. So, and that was the thing that he said right from the beginning of the show. At the very beginning,
I'm
he
the one with
said
the microphone.
hey, you don't like what I said on Netflix? Remember, you clicked on my face. Like I didn't click on you. You clicked on me. Or when he said, what's that group of people who I don't care I don't care if you say something offensive yesterday or 20 years
That's
ago.
you. I hate you. Yeah.
If I find out you said it, I'm gonna expose it. I'm gonna try to ruin your life and get you canceled. Who is that? He said that's all you Twitter people and stuff like that. Like, and he's right. That's the world we live in now. If somebody found out that Martin Luther King tweeted something bad about black people back in the day, they would be like, they would probably be like, we need to cancel Martin Luther King. I mean, like, there's people out there that will do that, and I think that was Chappelle's point. Michael Jackson's been dead for 10 years and he's got 2 new cases. I thought that was the funniest thing he said. It's like, this dude been dead for 10 years. He's got 2 new cases. So
Let the man rest in peace and just forget it.
but that whole line about when he said, well, you're not allowed to say this about that community because you're not in that community.
Oh yeah, we
but
dropped that word.
yeah,
It's like, but how can I say the N word?
why are you letting me
I
say
don't belong to that group either.
yeah, exactly. But he said, but you're putting emphasis on the fact that I'm not a part of the gay community.
Oh, he dropped the fucking mic.
You dropped the mic on her, and I'm sure that girl felt so stupid.
She's like,
oh damn it. Like, because you're
putting her on the spot.
You're telling me so hard that I'm not a part of this community, but you're inadvertently just throwing it in my face that you know or think that I'm a part of this one now. So what is? I would hate it to have been that girl.
He could have been like, "How do you know I'm not?"
Yeah. Well, he's always said he was. He's always said he was.
Why you gotta be assuming things?
Yeah. But all right, now let's go on to the next. All right, so last thing that You said you didn't.
I
You said
had
you
not
didn't
heard
see
about this.
anything on this
My first
topic.
question when he told me about that was, "Is Alicia Vikander? Is she
Yeah,
back in?"
yeah, she's back, and
Yeah, that's
they
all I
greenlit
care.
it. Now
Okay.
it might, they still might not. It's still in that situation where it might not
It's never gonna
happen,
be
but
trash.
but I honestly think that out of all the video game movies that we've had in the history in the years, that this was one of the
It's,
best ones.
it was very close to it.
Yeah, like I'm in agreement too. I love
Angelina
Mortal
Jolie.
Kombat. Mortal Kombat is always my favorite, but it was very cheesy and campy at
Yeah,
the in 90s. It was very 90s
it
extreme.
was very watered down too. They really went after it with the ratings. So
Was
like,
it PG-13?
yeah, I don't think it was originally anticipated, but they're like, New Line Cinema was probably like, I don't know if we really want to do like an X-rated kind of fatality movie. They're like, it's Mortal Kombat, and they're like,
Yeah.
yeah, but
But I think that I think whatever the problems that were with this first franchise's Tomb Raider movie that they feel like they got criticized on, I feel like they're going to try to avoid it. I think Tomb Raider 2 will probably be grittier, maybe not bloodier, but I feel like they're going to
yeah,
push it
you
even
don't really
harder.
need to make this series bloody. It's
Yeah,
just not
yeah.
necessary.
It was exciting seeing her like she was in a muscle shirt, like cut up, all the majority of her body was all
Yeah, she's
scratched
not
up.
built like Angelina Jolie.
She's not, no,
I prefer her form.
she's smaller than Angelina Jolie. But did you see did you see her
Yeah, she's
working
more
out?
athletic. Yeah, she's more
Yeah,
athletic.
she's cut, like that's way more muscle and stuff. So
But if you look at the first Tomb Raider, like just giant chest, little waist. The first game, it was
yeah,
really
they
bad.
really for Angelina Jolie, they played it up. They played up the sexuality on it because that's what guys really wanted to
The
see.
ones that came out in like 13 or 14 and like Rise of the Tomb Raider, they made
Yeah,
her look more realistic.
they made this woman more like
It's
this
like
new
Laura is
version of it.
not running around in the jungle with double
Like
G's.
no one
That's
would ever do that.
ridiculous.
Like when you're fighting werewolves in a bikini, like okay, but they made two movies. But that was hey, I'm sorry, but that it was Angelina Jolie in the 90s. That's what we
I
wanted to see.
I I liked the first one. The second one, what was it? The Cradle of Life or something? I don't know. The second
The
one was
second one was
garbage.
hard. I did not like the first one that much at all. And then I still remember to this day thinking
It was
to
trash.
myself, I did not like the first one. Why am I feel like the second one's going to be even more of a disappointment, but I'm going to go see it.
He went to go see Angelina
I
Jolie.
want to see that. I want to see her running around in a cave with a bikini on, fighting werewolves and stuff. And when I watched it, I remember thinking it was probably the first day I really became a critic. I was like, "This was trash."
Terrible. Oh my god.
I couldn't. I
It's
couldn't.
trash. This
I
movie's
couldn't down it more. I gave it like one star or whatever I was giving back. I don't know why I saw that second movie, and I still hate it to this day. And when I saw this Tomb Raider, I was very pleased. I was very happy with what they did. That last scene when she got the guns, I thought that was cheesy. That was the only thing I didn't like about it. Like, okay, all right, fan service, but I'm excited about the second one. I think it's going to be badass.
Is there a trailer for it? Or is it just
No. They just announced that they've gotten to a point where like it made. I think it broke even. They were like should we not? And they finally were like, you know what? We're gonna go for it and we're gonna do it. So that was just it. That was just an announcement. That was all.
If you guys are gonna make more Tomb Raider, you need to either make a movie or Netflix make a Deus Ex series. I want to see that.
Oh yeah, your precious Deus. Well, Tomb Raider's been out longer. It's more of a known property.
Not by much.
You think Deus Ex is more popular than Tomb Raider?
No.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. It's a more known property.
I would say, I don't know. That's kind of hard to say because it's not mainstream popular, but
there you go. You just answered it.
It's not as mainstream.
Tomb Raider was.
But
even when PlayStation first came out, Tomb Raider was one of the games that made it a phenomenon.
But it was a PC game. Deus Ex is a PC game, and there's a lot more PC gamers in the world than there are console gamers. Now the proportion has shifted a little bit nowadays, but there's still a lot of PC gamers out there.
But the fact that they took Tomb Raider and quickly made a couple movies of it in the 90s that already solidified the word Tomb Raider in people's head because they've already done two movies back in the day.
The game came out in like 90 between 95 and 98, something like
Right.
that. And then the movie came out like 2000.
Right.
The
But the second it had two movies, that was it. People knew a lot
and
more people
Angelina
know who
Jolie, like,
yeah, exactly. That's the
yeah,
argument. So a lot more people, especially if you're not a gamer at all, if you're a movie fan, you know what Tomb Raider is. You don't know what Deus Ex is. So
If
will
you're
there
a
ever be a
gamer,
Deus Ex? From what I saw on Deus Ex, I think Deus Ex would be awesome on like Amazon or Netflix or something like that.
yeah, a movie. It's kind of hard to cram it in, but give it like 5-10 episodes, it would be awesome.
But but it reminds me of what's the guy's name who played on the reboot of RoboCop? The tall dude. What's his name? What's that Netflix
I
series
can't
that
remember
he
his name.
did? Carbon, something Carbon.
Altered Carbon.
It kind of reminds me of a little bit of that.
It is a little bit in that cyberpunk kind of thing, yeah.
So is that Carbon series? I don't think they greenlit a second
season. Yeah. There's another season.
There is?
Yeah, there's another season coming.
Okay, good. Okay. So in that case, I could see it then on Netflix.
I think that they need to follow for you guys who've played Deus Ex. There's several of them. There's like 4 big ones. There's like Deus Ex, but the one that really caught my eye and the one I played first was like part 3, which was called The Human Revolution, and that storyline is what I think they need to follow from. The first one is kind of complicated, and the second one's very complicated. But this one, the third, part 3, you can make a series based out of that, and you can connect part 4 if you want to into the series. But you can just say fuck it and just use part 3. I mean, it's great. It's a great story.
So if you're the producer, you're the guy with $250 million to $300 million. You're like, all right, I'm gonna
part 3. We're gonna use part 3.
I'm gonna produce this this Deus Ex movie. Who's your director? Michael Bay.
Honestly, I would get someone like James Cameron or Neil Blomkamp or
I knew he was going to say that.
Or
two names I thought.
I'd get Ridley Scott because he's always great in sci-fi.
Ridley Scott, that's a good one.
I don't know, or like that dude who they did Blade Runner 2049, the guy who did Sicario and all that. Blade Runner 2049 was awesome.
A lot of people are saying that it was good. Some people like it more than the original. I never saw either.
I'm a fanboy of the first, so it's kind of I can't really answer that honestly. I don't know.
Maybe one of these days I'll check it out.
It was a worthy sequel. I'll say that. But when you go back and watch Blade Runner, just know how old it is.
Did I? Oh, there you go. There you go. You're back. My bad. You should have saw my face. I'm like, what the hell did I do? Click the wrong button. No, say it again. When you watch Blade Runner, what happened?
Just realize how old it is. With the one with the original one with Harrison Ford. I mean, they're both with Harrison Ford, but some of the shots you're going to be like, how the hell did they do that back in 1980 or 81, whenever it was? How did they pull that shot off?
So you feel like it was like ahead of its time?
Oh, way ahead of its time. Yeah, it was like when Stanley Kubrick's Space Odyssey 2001 or whatever it was. You watch that movie now, and I think they shot it in like 67, 68. Some of the stuff now, you're like, how did he do that? Like, how was that possible back then? Really? Yeah. Stanley. I mean, it was Stanley Kubrick though. So, have you ever seen that in Space Odyssey?
Nope.
When
did that movie come out again?
Like 69 or something. 69, dude. Like 1969, 1970. It was a long time ago.
Remember, my rule was if it's older than me, I'm not watching it. I don't know why I'm like that.
This is Chris's rule. If the movie is older than him, he will not watch it.
That's why I thought it was shocking that I watched Scarface. I thought it was older than me. And that's probably why Jason Rodriguez convinced me to watch it because he probably saw that it was made in 83. I thought it was in the 70s, but that's probably what was like, all right, then I'll watch it. But that was always my rule growing up. If it was older than me, there was only a few movies that broke that rule. Wizard of Oz.
You like Star Wars?
Star Wars. Yeah, that was the exception because I knew of Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi.
Okay, so he's more into Star Wars than I am, but I know the names of them.
Plus, they replayed Star Wars so much it didn't feel like one of those space operas from the 70s. There was a lot of cheesy movies like that were made about around that time. George Lucas just luckily made the best one that's ever been made in that era. I was a fanboy and still am about RoboCop and Aliens like he is about Star Wars. If you had asked me to answer questions about Star Wars as a kid, I would have referenced Spaceballs because that was kind of like
I'm serious because like my brother
That
was
was,
really into Star Wars because he's 8 years older than me. I didn't know of my brother made me watch the Star Wars when I was older. Like I didn't get to see Star Wars because we didn't have it on VHS.
but
And
Spaceball was so
I
Spaceballs
think
was really your
Spaceball.
introduction to Star Wars.
Yeah, that was my introduction.
I still feel like they should make a sequel to that and just do it.
I love Spaceballs.
That would be cool. All right, man. We'll I guess we're gonna call it for the for all the topics. Let us know what you guys think as always, and what do you think about the whole Tomb Raider thing? And I guess till next time, guys. Hey, peace. See. What? Yeah. So, what do you think? You like this?